The world is full of skeptics. People are quick to notice inconsistencies, to question motives, and to call out small deceptions. A petty theft, a tiny lie. A minor exaggeration, these are almost always discovered because they exist within the scope of ordinary human experience. They are small enough to be scrutinized, relatable enough to attract attention, and close enough to our expectations to trigger doubt. Yet paradoxically, when a lie becomes audacious, when it crosses the threshold of plausibility into the realm of the colossal, it often escapes skepticism entirely. This is the principle behind the big lie. It is audacity leveraged as camouflage. The larger the lie, the less likely it is to be questioned. Its very scale overwhelms the ordinary cognitive filters that humans rely on to judge truth from falsehood. Humans are wired to detect patterns. We examine small deviations from the norm. We compare statements to personal experience. We search for contradictions. A lie about a lunch bill or a trivial event is immediately relatable, easy to verify or challenge. Our brains are tuned to notice minor discrepancies because they fall within the lived parameters of daily life. But a big lie operates outside those parameters. It exceeds the mental framework we normally use to assess plausibility. When someone claims control over something vast, impossible, or profoundly consequential, our minds often recoil not in disbelief, but in a kind of cognitive bypass. We unconsciously assume that no ordinary person would dare construct a falsehood of such magnitude. We interpret audacity as authenticity. A claim so enormous that it seems unimaginable becomes, paradoxically, more credible precisely because we cannot conceive of anyone daring to fabricate it. The audacity itself is the filter bypassing mechanism, a psychological blind spot that allows deception to pass unchecked. Consider historical examples of this principle in action. Leaders have repeatedly used scale to avoid scrutiny, claiming powers, achievements, or knowledge so vast that the average observer cannot easily verify or contradict them. When a person lies about trivial details, we test them with facts. When they lie about monumental events, verification becomes psychologically and practically impossible. The mind struggles to weigh evidence because it must first contend with the conceptual enormity of the claim. Ordinary skepticism cannot bridge the gap between reality and the scale of the audacity. This gap is the playground of the master deceiver, the arena in which they exploit the limits of human critical thinking. Audacity creates its own authority. There is a paradoxical trust that arises when someone stakes a claim so large that doubt seems almost disrespectful. Humans tend to associate boldness with confidence, and confidence with truth. By committing fully to the enormous lie, the deceiver manipulates social perception. Doubting the claim now feels like questioning competence, like challenging power, like assuming bad faith in a figure whose assertion seems structurally impossible to challenge. The sheer immensity of the statement functions as a protective mechanism. People are complicit in the deception, not out of malice, but because the cognitive effort required to process the claim exceeds their instinctual scrutiny. By attempting to assess the lie in conventional terms, one risks confusion or cognitive dissonance. The deceiver's authority emerges organically from scale. The more audacious the claim, the more self-enforcing its credibility. The psychological mechanisms behind this are fascinating. Our brains operate with a hierarchy of plausibility filters. Small deviations are checked rigorously against memory and experience. Large deviations, however, can trigger a form of cognitive suspension. It is not disbelief in the active sense. It is disbelief in the evaluative sense. We are temporarily incapable of processing the information critically because it does not fit our pre-existing schemas. A claim that exceeds scale overwhelms the brain's normal heuristics, producing a temporary acceptance or deferment of judgment. This is why the audacious lie is so effective. It bypasses our natural defense systems, exploiting the gap between ordinary cognitive limits and extraordinary claims. In essence, audacity manipulates the architecture of the human mind, using scale as both shield and sword. Yet there is a cost to this extreme competence in deception. The master of the big lie internalizes the strategy, and in doing so begins to reconstruct their own internal map of reality. The repeated act of claiming audacious falsehoods, of seeing them accepted without challenge, creates a feedback loop. The mind starts to encode the deception as truth in its own cognitive framework. Over time, the deceiver no longer needs to calculate or justify each lie externally. They have internalized it. This produces a state of cognitive dissociation. The line between objective reality and self-constructed narrative blurs. Success in manipulation becomes an existential hazard. The more thoroughly the deceiver controls external perception, the more fragile their internal relationship with truth becomes. They are no longer simply lying to others. They are lying to themselves. The big lie that once commanded belief now dominates cognition. Reality itself becomes a negotiable concept. To understand the physiological dimension, it is essential to consider the neural and hormonal consequences of constant deception at this scale. Deception is not purely intellectual. It is embodied. Sustaining a big lie engages stress response systems. The fight-or-flight mechanisms that prepare the body for extreme social confrontation. Cortisol levels remain elevated. The prefrontal cortex is constantly active in pattern monitoring and risk assessment. Over time, this creates a state of heightened vigilance, an internalized tension that does not easily relax. The deceiver exists in a permanent state of alertness, scanning for threats to the narrative, anticipating questions, and evaluating credibility. This internalization produces a subtle but persistent cognitive strain, a physiological cost to mastery that manifests in hyperawareness, insomnia, or dissociative tendencies. Mastery of deception is thus inseparable from mastery over one's own neurochemistry, a continuous, exhausting calibration of perception and projection. Consider a practical example. A person claims to control a network, a financial system, or a chain of events so large that verification is nearly impossible. Others accept the claim, intimidated or awed by scale. The deceiver's confidence becomes a shield, and each subsequent interaction reinforces the illusion. Internally, the deceiver begins to rely on the lie as the primary framework for understanding both self and environment. Facts that contradict the claim are ignored, rationalized, or integrated into the lie itself. The cognitive map is no longer a reflection of objective reality. It is a structure built to protect and reinforce the audacious narrative. Success feeds self-reinforcing deception. Each validation from others strengthens the internalization. Over time, the liar inhabits a self-constructed world where all interactions, observations, and judgments are filtered through the lens of the big lie. The social consequences are equally profound. Relationships, trust, and collaboration are all mediated by the performance of audacity. Every interaction becomes a negotiation of perception. The deceiver constantly calibrates responses to ensure the narrative remains intact. This creates a social architecture of control, but it is inherently brittle. Any genuine challenge to the lie risks destabilizing not only perception in others, but the deceiver as own cognitive foundation. The success of the big lie thus produces a paradoxical vulnerability. Mastery in external influence comes with fragility in internal stability. The very audacity that shields the lie from scrutiny also isolates the deceiver within the architecture of their own creation. The mastery of audacious deception also requires a particular mindset, the ability to operate without the reassurance of evidence. The big lie succeeds because it operates in a space where verification is either impossible or psychologically deferred. This requires the deceiver to embrace uncertainty as a tool rather than a threat. Confidence, projected through audacity, substitutes for verification. The lie is successful not because it is grounded in reality, but because it generates the perception of inevitability. The mind of the deceiver must hold dual perspectives, understanding the truth while projecting a self-consistent, larger-scale falsehood. This duality is cognitively taxing, contributing further to the dissociative state inherent in extreme deception. Over time, the big lie becomes self-perpetuating. Each acceptance reinforces the perception of competence, authority, and invulnerability. This creates a feedback loop. The more audacious the claim, the more belief it generates. The more belief it generates, the more audacity is required to maintain credibility. The deceiver becomes trapped in a performance cycle that demands constant escalation, constant vigilance, and constant calculation. The mind adapts to sustain this performance, altering perception, memory, and emotional response to accommodate the demands of social control. Reality is no longer an independent metric. It is a variable dependent on the ongoing execution of audacity. The ultimate price of mastery is profound. Success in controlling perception externally comes at the cost of internal clarity. The deceiver loses the ability to rely on objective reality as a grounding mechanism. Every social interaction, every judgment, every observation is filtered through the lens of the lie. Cognitive dissonance becomes normalized, and the mind operates in a self-constructed prison. The big lie protects, empowers, and dominates, but it also isolates. The deceiver can no longer experience spontaneity or innocence in perception. Every stimulus is a potential threat to the narrative. Every relationship, a potential test. Competence in manipulation becomes a form of self-incarceration. If you are fascinated by the psychology of audacity, deception, and the internal costs of extreme social control, remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to The Fictionist. Understanding the big lie from an analytical perspective reveals not only the mechanics of social influence, but also the hidden cognitive and physiological toll of achieving mastery in deception. To wield audacity as a tool is to navigate the delicate boundary between power and self-imprisonment, a lesson as applicable to history, strategy, and leadership as it is to human behavior at its most extreme.